Welcome to Living Above Self. I am Grace McLean, an experienced and certified financial advisor and retirement specialist who loves to share inspiring stories that impact people's lives. Each week on Living Above Self, you will hear insightful interviews, financial strategies, and the nuggets of wisdom to guide your week. This podcast is about you, it's for you. Welcome to Living Above Self. Today on Wise Talk, we feature Karen Brown, an amazing businesswoman, a leader in the disabled community. Welcome, Karen, to Living Above Self.
Thank you, Grace.
So first off, Karen, what is the nature of your disability?
Okay, I am a physically disabled person, and the name of my disability is osteogenesis imperfecta. Breaking down, they call it, and some people call it brittle bones.
What did you say the medical name is?
Osteogenesis imperfecta.
And that's the brittle bone disease, or the brittle bone syndrome.
Yes.
Okay. So can you tell us what was your childhood like? Especially you were born with that disease, right?
Yes. I am going to tell you some of it. This is too much. All right. My childhood. I am the first of siblings of seven of us, and I am the first girl, daughter for my mommy, and first child for my mother and my father together. They have other children outside before, so all right. As a child growing up, it wasn't easy because the brittle bone attacks your straight limbs as a child, and it slow you down. In other words, physically slow down a person who suffers from it by having simple traumas. You have get multiple fractures from simple traumas, such as you may be playing with your peers and you trip, you have a broken bone in either in the femur, the tibia, or in your straight limb arms, the arm length there. So you find that it slow me down in that area where I wouldn't say slow me down, it just that it happened. So I did not go to school as regular children would. They didn't send me to school because of, I think, maybe a fear of being injured by other children. So I have to stay home when others going to school. But at the same time, they'll say it's because of my disability why they didn't send me to school. But I don't believe that because I'm at home and I'm doing it. I'm active the same way, doing the same stuff like other children, doing chores. So my opinion is that when I grow up and I realize what does that mean, is that parents in those days, because I'm 53, and parents in those days when they're young and have children with disabilities, I think they were more ashamed of maybe what their peers may say, especially women. They would may fear what each friend may say about their child. They tend to keep the child away from the public. That is how I see it. And that now deprived me of my education to the point where my dream then was to be, I wanted to be a lawyer then, and I didn't get the opportunity to go to school to pursue my career then. I was at home with my brothers and sisters, and every time I go to school, I have to come when they come home to do homework. I would listen to them and follow on, and I taught myself to read and write. Wow. I don't say, Mommy, take me and put me down to read and write. Listen to me carefully. I taught myself to read and write by listening carefully because I'm a very good listener. I talk a lot, but I listen well. So I would listen and I learned. First thing I remember as a child, about 5 to 6 years old, I'll never forget it. I used to learn the alphabet and I would sing it around the house. Me and my peers would play. And then after I learned the alphabet, I started spelling words and I learned to read. I always liked to read as a child, And that is where I get my education from by being self-taught. Okay? So by the time I was like 18, 16, 17, I left my parents' house because I realized, no, this is not where I'm supposed to be now. And I left and started my life. I was in the growing place of safety for maybe a 6-9 months or so. And then I came to Mona Rehab. After I came to Mona Rehab, I enrolled myself into a school. There was a commercial.
Just a moment, Andrea. So that our listeners know, what is Mona Rehab?
Okay, Mona Rehab is a place where persons with physical disability are really rehabilitated, whether they want spinal injury or other physical birth defect or anything. When you go to Mona Rehab after you get an accident, they have a spinal injury or any form of injury physically, they would rehabilitate.
Physical injuries.
Yes, face society again. Some people may bound to wheelchair, they have to learn to use the chair Some may have to use crutches. You have to learn to use it again. Those are the able-bodied ones before. If I, like, for instance, me that was born physically disabled, I had to do multiple surgeries on my limbs to get them back to where they are now because of the years of fractures as a child without medical attention. So Professor Golin took me in and he did 5 orthopedic surgeries on my legs and bring me to the best he could, which I am so grateful because I like the way I look after and all of that. And then now I started working and I enrolled myself in school. And when I did it, I enrolled myself in school that because I wanted to I just wanted to prove something to myself if I was at the level that I expected. And when I went and do the course on downtown school in Jamaica Commercial Institute, after I did the course and I passed it, I said, okay. And I just put down the certificates and I have never used them again. I did switchboard typing and filing and telephone, switchboard operating and typing and filing and elementary stage English. And I passed them with flying colors. And I said, wow. And I put them down and move on, start working as a seamstress in the sewing room at Mona Rehab while I was on the ward still. My life started on the ward. I'm different from everybody. So I start buying up my stuff on the ward to go on my own because I'm not going home to my parents. I want to go on my
So
own now.
you were actually living on the ward.
I was not
You were
supposed to be
living
living
at
on
the
the ward.
Mona Rehab Center.
No, miss. I was living at the Mona Rehab. I was a patient at the Mona Rehab.
You were a patient at the Mona
Yes,
Rehab
but what
Center.
happened there is that when Prof see that you have potential and ambition, he would allow you to stay and build yourself, then he would help you to move on.
Okay, great.
Uh-huh.
And so you're a woman who wear many hats now. Can you share with us the different professions or career paths that you have taken?
All right, yes. I have as my 60s then I did my 60s and I passed them and I did childcare. So I am a certified child caregiver and also a seamstress.
A seamstress and a child caregiver. That's two.
And
right?
I am the director of this organization that I formed in 2010.
What's the name of that organization?
The Jamaica Association of Persons with Physical Disability, director and founder of that organization.
Excellent.
And this organization now, I realized when I was pretty much younger and having challenges with my child and seeking for assistance, I realized the physical disabled community we don't get much attention. So I said, whoa. And I realized that the Jamaica Society for the Blind, they have their representative, and the deaf and the intellectually impaired, they have their own representation to go to the council for persons with disability. But we didn't have any representation at the time. And I realized it was a big challenge because when you go to the council or to the government, they tend to put you aside because you are not under umbrella rather. So they would come back tomorrow and see what we can do. But with other organizations who have their body, they would get better assistance. So this is that's all.
So you organized yourselves as a group of physical disabled people.
Yes, and formed this organization.
Right. And what would you say that organization has achieved so far? I remember when I visited, for that business presentation to talk to that group about investment. Some were self-employed, others were working with other organizations, and so and they were very enthusiastic. It was really something to behold, to see that. I didn't see them as disabled because they did not come across as disabled. They didn't throw a pity party. They did not complain. They did not talk about, their disabilities and what is hindering them in life. But they were full of life. They had hope. They had vision, So I must commend you for leading that organization.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So whom would you say has influenced your life?
My first influence in life, as an icon?
You could say as an icon, or just let us know. We want to know, what was this influence that you have, even from as a child, all the way, who are the persons who helped you? I know I think you mentioned Professor John Golding.
Yes.
Right, you mentioned him. So it seems as if he had a big influence on you. I don't know if there's
Yes,
Anybody else?
Yes, he did. All right. No, I am a self-motivated person.
Okay.
Yes. So having a person say, well, then no, I did not have that because I wasn't in that circle to really get that kind of opportunity because I
So
was a
you
child who always at home.
right. So you're self-motivated and you
Yes.
pick yourself up and you don't
Yes.
feel sorry for yourself. You
Yes. Yes.
find ways, you use your disability to enable you,
Yes.
and creating opportunities for others.
Yes.
And that is really very commendable.
Yes.
Also, as an investor, how do you cope with risks?
Okay, first and foremost, risk is a daily life. Life is a risk because living in this world as a child coming up, it was always a risk for me. Meaning that I have a disability where it's a serious challenge then because moving about was a big challenge physically. And it was a risk to live because you don't know when you're going to have a trauma, you don't know when you're going to in problems, and you don't know if a parent's going to live to see another day. So life is a risk. And I don't know why people keep saying risk in investment because I have a daughter. And when I got pregnant with my daughter, I realized I have to go take care of my daughter on my own. That is a big risk. To take care of a child for 21 years is a big risk. A lot of parents may not look at it like why I look at it, but risky because you don't know how, especially when you don't have great support from family or on either side. It's risk. And if I can take care of my daughter, send her through high school, if she get all her subjects, get on and finish sixth form by myself, without a father or family member to support, that is the biggest risk I ever take in my life. And investing is, to me, I don't consider investing as a risk because when I go to invest, I go to achieve. I don't go to take risks.
Yes, that's a good way to
Okay?
look at it. Yes.
Yes. So to me, investment is not a risk because you can't invest what you don't have. You invest it because you have it to invest. You can have you make the decision to make the sacrifice to invest. So if
And so
I make sacrifices, I expect to get results.
yes, and once you're armed with knowledge, then you can
Yes.
make the right decision about
Yes,
investing.
because you don't just walk into things. I years ago before even know when I was in my 20s, I always want to invest the way I invest now. And I waited and I do a lot of business, micro business over the years, do over and over, fall down, get up back, brush off, move on. Sometimes some of them have been had great success, some of them have a great disappointment, then people would call it. But I think it was a teaching, learning lesson for me because
Exactly.
I am not a person who have been nine. I'm not a 9 to 5 person. And this person. I like challenging. I like challenging.
You're an entrepreneur and you're the
Yes.
person you want to
Yes.
work for
Yes. And if
yourself,
I'm
have
in a
your own
sphere
business.
era where I'm not getting any challenge, I'm going to walk away. So what I do over the years, for the past 25, 27 years, I work for myself. I go to school, achieve papers, but it doesn't really, at the end of the day, me go to work, me just stay there, me just we got back to what I started off as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And today I can tell anyone I have great results.
Wonderful. Congratulations on that. And so today, what are you most proud of?
Well, I'm most proud of is to in my community as an example for the younger disabled coming up to assist them to move to the next level in terms of whether I want a big job or job creation or education or even investment. So they can say to me, Miss Andrea, can they call me Andrea, what you think or what you think you could do. The ones that are really ambitious. I am there for them and I talk to them. We don't have to take a bus to find them. They are right around me. And some maybe not pleased about what I do, but at the end of the day, they'll come back and say, boy, Miss Andrea, you didn't really me understand what he just said from the beginning, but I will never understand it. And I'm so proud to know that I can help them. Right now, I have 4 ladies now training in the coming in the Surgeon Golden where we have finished got a sewing room where I started my life here in the sewing room. I refurbish it through the help of the Rotary Club and we get some money, I will refurbish it. I know I have some ladies in there, young mothers, very young mothers who are disabled, physically disabled, are training them now to do full garment construction and then now we can create employment for them. And then I hope to go further in the future, but I start off with a small group. But for me, when I started a small group, my group always turned into a big group.
Yes, so you start small and then you grow from there.
And I am very open. I am a very open person. I talk. And that is what helped me to communicate with my community peers because when I make something right or wrong, I speak out. I'm an advocate in terms of
Right.
I'm very, yeah. So if things not right, they will come to me and
Right,
say,
you're
I will
their
speak.
representative, so you
Yes.
speak up for them, and you're
Mm-hmm.
also a mentor and a coach for those
Yes.
young disabled
Yes.
people. And
Yeah.
so we want
And I
to
am so
commend
proud of,
you.
I am so grateful that God could have blessed me with that kind of knowledge so to help those, because some of us are stronger than some mentally and physically. And when I look back, I said to God, I said, sometimes, God, I'm thanking you because I'm grateful that I could assist somebody else to make a better life, not just for me, because it's me thing. I'm not a self person.
Right.
I am not
Oh,
a me person. I'm more like a community person.
yeah. So you live above self. That's exactly
Yes,
what
I live
you're
above
doing,
self.
and
That's
which
what
is
I do.
exactly what the podcast is about. Persons
Yes.
who live above self.
Yeah, I live above self. I do.
How are you and the disabled community? How are you all dealing with the pandemic?
Well, I think we as a disabled community are coping it better than every community in our communities, because pandemic or no pandemic, we always have a situation we have to deal with. And it's like we don't put the pandemic as an issue in our lives because we always have some form of challenges.
Right.
So we have to find our own stuff or create our own circle, food, and everything. So it's like we don't really have an issue like say, whoa, Corona stop us from do no. We live a regular day. We're gonna daily base. We live same way. You might have little challenge and sometimes we can help each other. People come in sometimes and they will give packages to some of them, but we don't depend on that. We do things same way.
That's wonderful to hear. You know that you all look out for each other,
Yeah.
and you all focus on what it is that you all can do to help, not help each other and each person helping themselves.
Yeah.
And so
And
it
I
is.
thought that, yeah, that teach them about growth. Miss McLean, when you think about life is about growth, not
Yes,
stagnation. Because if you sit down and mope about this pandemic, it's not gonna last forever.
exactly. So you're thinking beyond the pandemic,
Yeah,
and you're
beyond the
planning
pandemic.
beyond the pandemic,
Yes, so I'm
and you're
working while the
as
pandemic is busy, and when the pandemic is over now, we will enjoy the benefit of the work that we put in now.
that you put in now, and so that's very wise. That's very, very wise of you. And we are hoping that many persons will be listening this program today and see the attitude and see the determination, the mental fortitude that you have, and how you are planning ahead of this pandemic,
Yes,
right? So that you come out winning. And that is
yes,
what is important. So you are not allowing what's happening in terms of the
no,
pandemic, to stifle your growth,
no,
and to set you back.
right.
Instead, you are looking at ways at which you can advance. And so that is very important.
Yes.
Finally, what advice do you want to give to the able-bodied community? This is globally now.
Nobody. I'll say to the
Yes.
everybody persons in worldwide. First one, always be positive. Positivity is what overcome negative issues. If you can be positive in everything, in anything you do, I will know. Yes, the pandemic is here and it's all, but don't allow it to get you down. Move on, work, sit in your home, find something to do. That when the pandemic away, you can have earn from it. And so because the pandemic give you a lot of time to think,
Yes.
time to see, find yourself, know who you are,
Yes,
what
that's true.
what your purpose is. Because you have a lot of time to sit at home now. Then when you're going out, I gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. And you understand? No, you don't. You not got to go. You can stay. Sit in your home or sit in a circle. Some people can form social groups. Some can just do things that is meaningful. So after the pandemic, you can pop up with a good organization or some business or something. But don't sit down and worry about what the news say about pandemic. Just be positive in everything you do. Think more positivity than negative towards this pandemic situation. And everybody person that also must learn to understand if a person is disabled and they can ride out their storm and overcome challenges, they're supposed to have an easy to ride out storms and overcome challenges because they are much more stronger physically. So the physical strength and they combine to the persons. Like for instance, we are in our community now. And we have a lot of able persons around us. They are so negative and dormant, I would call it. They don't get up and shake up when you in our community, you will see all disabled come out in the morning, whether they are employed or not and gone somewhere. Everybody just sit down and look. It's not looking good. Because we have to it take us 3 times effort to go on that bus than them taking one effort. And we go out on the bus and they sit down, let you coming back to them same we get on the chair, get on somewhere, and we have to go out and come in, go out and come in.
So you're basically as a disabled group of persons, you're able to, view life in a way that is so much different because you remain focused, you remain positive, and you realize that this disability that I have ain't going away. But what is it that I can do? And you get up and you get going because you're not relying on anybody to provide for you. And that is very important. And I really hope that able-bodied persons who are listening this today can take a leaf out of your book, and realize that, instead of, using excuses, find at least one reason to get up and get going and change your future for the better. Go ahead.
Disabled parents are one of the best set of parenting, do a very good job in parenting. And most of us are single parent, you know what? And if you check it out, even I just seen myself, I look at it and I said, then why is it we are both single mothers, able-bodied and disabled? Why can't you look and see that this disabled woman have brought her child up this way to achieve for themselves, or you can see it to the light, you grow a child to be independent so you can be free from children's responsibility at 25 and 30. They still have to be maintaining their children at 25 and 30. Why? The body people need to take a book or a leaf out of the disabled community. You cannot maintain a child after the past becomes adult and then expect life to be comfortable when you're doing born now. Well, grow your children to be independent, responsible, so they will go out and get a job, get an education and finish their career. Don't let them think because you didn't make it, you're giving them everything that they want. So they live and you're like, ticks. This is the biggest problem I have to tell them, the message I have to give to the able-bodied parent them. Grow the children to be responsible and stop babying them.
And so I want to thank you so much, Karen, for being our guest on Living Above Self. And I'm sure that this program will have an impact on many persons, able-bodied as well as the disabled persons who are listening today, to realize that no matter how far you have fallen, you can get back up. You have had many setbacks, you have started businesses before, and you have had your share of disappointment as a disabled person, but you pick yourself up and you were determined to succeed, and you have had tremendous success as an entrepreneur. And I just want to thank you. I lift my hat off to you, Karen Brown. All the best, and thank you again for being our guest on Living Above Self.
You're welcome, Grace.
Kickstart your day with the healthy choice of a flavorful cup of Organa Gourmet Coffee. Awaken your senses and enrich your day. Get your favorite flavor at gracemclean.myorganagold.com. Welcome to Grow Your Money. Today on Living Above Self, we challenge you not to fear investing during the pandemic. Now is the right time to add to an emergency fund or to create an emergency fund to cover living expenses. Prepare for the next crisis. No one can predict the next economic downturn, but you can make preparations to survive it. Seize the opportunity to manage credit card debts. Seek to clear credit card debts and give yourself financial breathing space. An emergency fund ideally represents at least 6 months of living expenses. Now, when it comes to retirement planning, we all should have a retirement plan. And right in the pandemic, you can start your retirement planning or review your retirement plan. Renowned financial advisor Andrew Crowley says, the further from goal you are, the more investment risks you can take to reach your goal. Living Above Self recommends that you shouldn't fear risks, fear standing still. In life, you can't escape risks, but you can manage risks. Don't allow fear to rob you of financial freedom. Examine your retirement plan. If you have an IRS, it is still wise to supplement your pension in retirement. Don't fear declines in the stock market. Declines create opportunities to acquire more shares, which will be of much greater value when the market recovers. Invest in stocks and bonds and reduce your investment risk. Bonds tend to perform well when stocks are declining. Always remember that stocks give you higher returns than bonds over the long term. Get tax-free profits from investing in stocks. It's best to start investing in stocks early to create wealth tax-free. If you are in your 20s, now is the best time to invest in stocks and benefit from compound interest. Also, buy stocks for diversification. Don't rely on one source of income. During a pandemic or recession, you can lose your job and your income can dry up. Own your financial future. Investing in great companies can make you wealthy. Become an investor and not a speculator. Don't be a spectator either. Get in the game. Don't be afraid to invest. Remember, inflation destroys your savings. During this pandemic, it's convenient to evaluate your life insurance needs. Are you paying too much for life insurance? On the other hand, do you have enough life insurance? Term insurance is a lot cheaper than whole life insurance. Now is the time to have a conversation with your life insurance advisor. In recapping, use the opportunities the pandemic provides by taking stock of your emergency fund, your retirement plan, and your long-term investment. Invest in stocks to grow your money long-term and create wealth. As a financial advisor, I encourage you to build your future today. Thanks for joining us on Grow Your Money, Your Living Above Self financial feature. Thank you. Living Above Self presents Nuggets of Wisdom. In the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey tells the story of a battleship being at sea during heavy weather. Visibility was poor due to the fog. The captain of the battleship saw what appeared to be another vessel in its path. The captain gave instructions to signal the other vessel to change course in order to avoid a collision. A response came back from the other ship saying, "Advisable for you to change course 20 degrees. The captain replied, "I am the captain. Change course 20 degrees. A reply came back from the other vessel. "I am a seaman, second class. Change course 20 degrees. The captain became furious and answered, "I am a battleship. Change course 20 degrees. Then came the flashing lights. "I am a lighthouse." The captain changed course. Stephen Covey says, our values may govern our behaviors, but the consequences of our behaviors is governed by lighthouse principles that are there to govern our lives. He said, how we see the problem is the problem. The lighthouse principle reminds me of the Bible. We may choose to live our lives based on our own value systems, but that doesn't change the biblical principles that are there to govern our lives. In the story of the lighthouse, the captain experienced a paradigm shift. A lighthouse guides ships at sea. The captain thought the lighthouse was a ship. According to Stephen Covey, principles are the territory and values are maps. Therefore, let us not mistake the territory for the map. You may need to amend the map, but you can't change the territory. It is necessary, therefore, to build our value systems based on principles such as integrity, honesty, service, excellence, fairness, and human dignity. Living above self encourages us to listen to what others have to say Respect other people's opinions. When we listen, we learn more about others and we also learn about ourselves. When we are on a collision course and refuse to change directions, we break ourselves against the lighthouse. Remember, we can't break the lighthouse, we only break ourselves against it. Oftentimes in life, we get warning signs or signals about our health, about our relationships, about our success. It's that small voice that says, change your course. If we ignore the signals, the results can be fatal. Reflect on your life. Were there times when you thought you were right and had to change course? We close with a quote from Stephen Covey. There are three constants in life: change, choices, and principles. Thank you for listening to Nuggets of Wisdom on your podcast, Living Above Self.